since we're on it, and you're talking about AI now, it seems like in a lot of Sanity's communications lately, there's been a little bit of a focus on AI, and I think you guys are taking a unique approach to integrating like an AI helper into a content creation workflow. So can you walk us through what that looks like?
Oh, now you have to be careful because now I'm going to be talking for hours. But I'll try to be. No, yeah, like I used to be a writer earlier, like in my life, and one of the things I hate with AI, I also hate that partly as a developer. AI has this tendency of like I ask Cursor like how would you implement this new data type I'm thinking of in our backend, and he goes like, oh, I would do it like this, and then it starts kind of reaming out 7 new files in a test suite for it. I'm like, yes, like I wanted to do that with you, like and now I'm just reviewing this pull requests, and that's terrible. And the same thing is with writing. Like, if you write in the kind of chat mode, you give a brief, it will give you that whole text. Now I have to read it, and then I have to tell you how to change it. And now I'm copy editor, and I wanted to be a writer, so we created a product called Sanity Create, and it's going to be now it's a separate product. It will be kind of as Sanity evolves, it will become part of the kind of standard package. It will be closer to the studio. It's a way to write. So first and foremost, AI needs context to help you. So the first thing is this is a normal. It looks like Notion or something like a general writing tool like that, but it has a sidebar where you can add your notes. And the thinking there is like, of course, for humans collaborating, it is very nice to have a separate space for the notes. Like typically when I work with in Google Docs or Notion in collaborative writing projects, all of the notes are in the document. It's a very messy document. It's full of instructions and notes. And like in Sanity Create, there is a separate kind of section for all of the meta communication, all of those notes. But the point of that is that the AI also can read that, so that when I am writing, I can say, okay, maybe continue from here. I feel like from here, like I'm writing a documentation article, I kind of written my kind of gambit, my interesting opening. I think you can take it from here. You go like a command period, and it starts writing, but it doesn't give you like the boatload of information. It writes one sentence for you, and if you like it, you tab, and it keeps going, and it tab, and it keeps going, and it tab, and I don't like this so much. You just start writing and you take the wheel and you go like, no, I think it should be sound more like this. And then you can go back and you can take turns. And then it becomes more like an actual collaborative thing where you actually are empowered. And by the time your text is done, there's no revisions because you wrote it together. Like you've read the whole thing and you took your choices the whole way. And when you took a different direction, I think very often AI is pretty like make very boring decisions, but are really good at doing the obvious stuff. So very often you get to think, don't want to get to this point now. I feel like we should like do a little kind of like a switcheroo and like start talking about something else. You do write that, and then the AI kind of, and with the new Sonnet models from Anthropic, it's pretty good at writing too, actually. So like when it takes over, it's pretty good at that. So that's part of it. Then the kind of crux is that we realize that a lot of our customers have it's a separate kind of job to implement content. Like in many big companies, it's like someone takes a Google Doc from like some content process, and they copy pastes it into the right fields. And these documents, and I've collected those documents for a while, like where it says like, yeah, this is a case study, blah blah blah, for so and so customer, and like these are the main use cases, and like, yeah, these are. So basically, it's an instruction for filling out a form. And I realized like I'm like that myself. Like it's hard to be creative in a form, so you actually like want to write in this kind of more free form shape. The thing with Sanity Create, it can be connected to your content studio, and it knows your schema. So actually it can then by itself follow those instructions. So we can actually like in real time map your document to a structured content document. And the really cool thing is like if you use Sanity with real Sanity has a really good real-time preview mode with like visual editing and everything. And if you set this up, you can actually edit in your text, and that gets immediately reflected into your document and then into your preview. So you have live preview, and this goes way beyond like just like an article, like a blog article. For that's simple, but you can even describe like landing pages with like, oh, I need a CTA here. They should be blue, and like, and then it will implement that for you. So that's pretty cool. That's Sanity Create, and it's free to use. It's just like go there and start playing with it. And yeah, as time goes on, it will be integrated more and more into the product, but it will still be free to use. I think it's the plan, at least.
That's awesome. There's like a lot of opportunity there to be as you integrate it into the product, because it's already a part of all these like content editors workflows, and like it spreads out, and like a lot of people get to take advantage of it. That'd be pretty powerful.
Yeah, and what we realize is like one thing is like the content team. Like if you have a very, let's say you're working on merchandising in an e-commerce company, like you want a studio, you want the forums, and you live there and you live and breathe those things. Very often, a company has like a second group of users who are like journalists, for example, in a media organization, or even like external collaborators who are like, let's say, like talked with one company who has. They do the LMNO health. They do like information systems for hospitals, like critical information for nurses. And the people who are creating the content are nurses. They are not content professionals, and might not even care very much about like, oh yeah, we have this new content model for guides, and you should like add step here, and might not care very much about like learning that. With Sanity Create, of course, they can work in a much more intuitive way for a nurse, and then that system can automate the migration into a structured shape. And then, of course, that can be then validated and quality assured by a content professional that then can do lots more stories every day. And the same thing, we talked to a company doing, they had like a sponsored content, like branded content. And of course, those people, then you collaborate with someone who really don't care about your CMS. They just want like one page to do to help like review the story and maybe add some flavor to it. That's also like a great use case for Sanity Create. It's kind of like this DMZ at the perimeter of your CMS.
Yeah, I love how it is just like so easy to use, and that AI translation layer seems crazy. And I'm also a big fit. Like, there's kind of two dichotomies in AI tools. There's like the tab workflow where it's like a helper that's coming along with you and working with you as you go, and like the
Yeah,
one shot do it all for you. And I'm really
yeah,
not a fan of that second workflow because, as you
no,
said, you become a reviewer. I don't want to be a reviewer of code. I want to be an author of code, and the tab workflow just works so much better for that.
no. I think that, and then the other part is this. I wonder why. Like, I feel that is like we did it with the sidebar notes. I think there should be more ways to help add context to a conversation. Like something like everyone has these kind of, you can add things or you can mention things, but like very often I need to add a new conversation, like I'm creating a new conversation because this one has gone mad. I mean, that very often happens. At some point, the AI just goes mad. It's too much context, and I have to start again. I would love to be able to have some kind of pattern where this is like my mainline context. Like this is what I'm working on. I'm creating a database system that is so and so. Like this is like this is like the every day you wake up, at least know this. And I feel like there's that's a pattern that I feel we haven't. Like different tools have different ways of solving that, but like I'm looking for a way to have that context just come along with me. Like this is a job I decided to do today. So every time I talk to an agent or something, it should know that. That's kind of my mode today. Yeah, like a
That's awesome.
situational background prompt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see this new generation of tools. Especially, it seems like you're doing it very thoughtfully, and that's I think what we need, because there's a lot of there's a lot of folks just rushing ahead.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think we have the privilege in a way. Like I feel like as developers, we see the future. Our tools are from the future. They are like so far ahead of everything else. But I mean, like using like Warp with Cursor or Windsurf. That's how content authoring should feel like in a couple of months. That's what everything should feel like. But we have, of course, like this little benefit of most of our like the industry we are like targeting and developers in our space are not maybe the most eager to deploy all of this immediately, and that's kind of fine. So we can take our like a little bit more time getting everything right. But I'm really excited about. There was a time in the beginning here I was a little bit worried that like is structured content not going to be very important anymore because these AI tools can just kind of take any kind of pile of garbage and figure out the structure of it. And then as time goes by, I realized like it's a very important world here where we quality assure our content. So what AI helps us do is like bring in content that is unstructured into a structured universe, and there we can quality assure. We can make sure like this is a fact, this is a kind of brief, this is more kind of a like a description of a thing, whereas this is the price. You can't like invent a new price, but you can invent a new description slightly for a new audience member. um And that turns out that the structured content stuff is just more and more important. So and with AI, we can just work with it more efficiently and in more context and automate things better.